Have you ever wondered why Amazon keeps its prices so low? Why Facebook felt the need to buy Instagram or WhatsApp? Or why Google doesn't let anyone else challenge its search engine? We think these are modern business strategies, but they are not. Every single one of these tactics was born 150 years ago, inside the mind of one man, John D. Rockefeller, history's first billionaire. He built an empire that held more power than the US government itself. His company, Standard Oil, wasn't just a business, it was the perfect example of a monopoly. In today's video, we aren't just looking at Rockefeller's life, we are going to decode his ruthless playbook, a playbook he used to buy the world, and the exact same book that Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg are using today to rule our digital lives. Welcome to Wealth Memoir. Let's decode the blueprint of history's greatest business mastermind. To understand the empire, we must go back to the very beginning. 1839. John D. Rockefeller was born into a poor family in New York. But his first teacher wasn't a school or a university. It was his own father, William Avery Rockefeller. William was a professional con man. He posed as a cancer specialist, selling fake cures to naive villagers. People called him Devil Bill. He would disappear for months, only to return with pockets full of cash. Rockefeller received a terrifying education from his father. Devil Bill used to say, "I cheat my boys every chance I get. I want to make them sharp." Imagine a child who was cheated by his own father. How could he ever trust the world? Rockefeller realized early on, emotions have no place in this world. Control is everything. Rockefeller was the complete opposite of his chaotic father. He was quiet, calculated, and disciplined. At just 16, he started working as an assistant bookkeeper. He earned only 50 cents a day, but he recorded every single penny in his famous red notebook. 1859, Pennsylvania. Liquid gold, petroleum, burst from the ground. The American oil rush began. Everyone ran to drill for oil. But 22-year-old Rockefeller made a decision that set him apart from the rest. He realized that drilling for oil was like gambling. You might find it, you might not. But whoever found oil had to refine it. So Rockefeller didn't chase the wells, he built a refinery. It was the platform business model we see today with Apple or Google. He didn't want to be the gambler, he wanted to own the casino. 1870, Rockefeller founded Standard Oil. Notice the name, Standard. He wanted to imply that his oil was the only standard. But the market was flooded with hundreds of small competitors. Rockefeller knew he couldn't grow in a crowd. So he initiated his most ruthless operation, known in history as the Cleveland Massacre. Rockefeller knew the key to the oil business wasn't the oil itself, it was transportation. He made a secret deal with the railroad owners. He told them, "I will give you guaranteed volume, but in return, you must ship my oil cheaper than anyone else." But it got worse. The deal stated that whenever his competitors shipped oil, the railroads had to pay a part of their fee back to Rockefeller as a commission. Basically, his enemies were unknowingly funding his empire. This was called the rebate game. Then Rockefeller would approach them and say, "Sell your company to me or go bankrupt." In just 3 months, 22 out of 26 competitors in Cleveland sold out to him. If anyone refused to sell, Rockefeller dropped his oil prices so low that they went bankrupt trying to compete. Let's fast forward to the present. In economics, this tactic is called predatory pricing, taking a loss to kill the competition. And this is the exact strategy used by today's e-commerce giant, Amazon. The year was 2010. A website called diapers.com became incredibly popular among mothers. Jeff Bezos wanted to buy them, but they refused to sell. So Bezos pulled a page straight out of Rockefeller's book. Amazon suddenly slashed diaper prices by 30%. Reports suggest Amazon was losing money on every single pack of diapers sold, burning through $200 million a year just to destroy diapers.com. Diapers.com couldn't survive this uneven fight. Eventually, they surrendered and sold the company to Amazon. Once the competition was gone, Amazon raised the prices again. 150 years apart, but the rules of the game remain the same. What Rockefeller did with railroads, Bezos did with algorithms and pricing. The blueprint for monopoly hasn't changed. But Rockefeller didn't stop at killing competitors. He knew that to maximize profit, he had to own every step of the process. This concept is called vertical integration. At the time, oil was stored in wooden barrels. Rockefeller realized buying barrels was too expensive, so he built his own barrel factory. He even bought entire forests so he wouldn't have to pay for wood. He built his own wagons. He laid his own pipelines. Does this sound familiar? Look at today's tech giants. Facebook, now Meta, or Google aren't just making apps. They are laying thousands of miles of internet cables under the ocean. Take Apple. They used to buy processors from Intel. Now they manufacture their own silicon chips. Why? Because like Rockefeller, they want 100% control over their ecosystem. Dependency is weakness. By 1880, Standard Oil controlled 90% of America's oil. Rockefeller was no longer just a rich man, he was a shadow government. But just then, a woman entered the scene, ready to tear his garden down. By 1900, Rockefeller was untouchable. The government, the railroads, the banks, he owned them all. But the most powerful man on earth was about to be shaken by an ordinary journalist. Her name was Ida Tarbell. For Ida, this fight was personal. Her father had been driven to bankruptcy by Rockefeller during the Cleveland massacre. To avenge her father's humiliation, Ida picked up her pen. She spent years researching, digging up secret documents, and in 1904, she published her masterpiece, The History of the Standard Oil Company. The book exposed Rockefeller's bribes, spying, and ruthlessness to the public. The world began to hate him. Cartoonists started depicting him as a giant octopus strangling the globe with its tentacles. This moment mirrors the modern-day Facebook files or whistleblowers like Frances Haugen. When a corporation becomes too powerful, someone eventually leaks the truth from the inside. Ida Tarbell was the original whistleblower. Under the pressure of Ida Tarbell's report, the U.S. government was forced to act. In 1911, the Supreme Court delivered a historic verdict. Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly and had to be broken up. Rockefeller's massive empire was sliced into 34 separate companies. These fragments gave birth to today's energy giants like ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Amoco. Everyone thought this was the end of Rockefeller. He was destroyed. But then came the greatest twist in business history. Even though the company was broken, Rockefeller kept his 25% stake in all 34 companies. And when these companies started trading separately on the stock market, their value skyrocketed. Mathematically, the sum of the parts was worth far more than the whole. Rockefeller's net worth tripled after the breakup. It was this verdict that officially made him the world's first billionaire. He once said, "Praise God for the Supreme Court." For the last 40 years of his life, Rockefeller retired from business. He spent this time trying to change his image. He became one of history's greatest philanthropists, funding the University of Chicago, revolutionizing modern medicine, and eradicating hookworm. It was all possible because of his money. John B. Rockefeller is a paradox. He is both America's most hated villain and its greatest hero. He taught us that to be big, you must be ruthless. But he also taught us that wealth is not meant to be hoarded, but given away. Today's Amazon, Google, or Meta, they are all walking the path Rockefeller paved. History may not repeat itself exactly, but it certainly rhymes. Was Rockefeller a genius or a monster? Let me know in the comments. To uncover more deep secrets of the corporate world, subscribe to Wealth Memoir. See you in the next video.